We are back in the house. I am Larry Brass. This is Get the Effing Phone podcast for July 14th, 2015. I am your host tonight. I am joined also by my good friend Tony Hennedy, editor in chief over at LazyTechGuys.com. And that's where you can find most of their stuff. Tony, how's it going tonight?
It's very good, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm rocking in here. I'm having a good time because I have my Dewar's, my scotch.
I saw that
I love
earlier. I was like,
scotch.
oh, I wish there was a way for you to remotely, digitize that
Remote a
and
shot.
then remote a shot to me. There you go. There's a startup for you right there, man.
Remote a
If you
shot.
if you if you could figure that out, then it'd be over.
I
Like we would need to be doing this our other
I
thing.
gotta actually open this again because like it's a nice little pop to it. I gotta get that pop playing. So I'm actually drinking it straight up. So hopefully this will give us the little kick we need tonight because we got some news to talk about, tech and gaming news. That's what we do here on Get the Effing Phone. We want you guys to know that you can find Get the Effing Phone on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on where else? Google Plus. All you gotta do is search for One Life to Play. You can also find it on iTunes, but again, search for One Life to Play, the number one, the number two. Make sure you follow us, subscribe, comment, like, join in the conversation because we really like to hear from you guys too about all the things that we talk about here on the podcast and on our website. Lazy Tech Guy, how can they find you?
Pretty much the same way, but instead of one life to play, you type in Lazy Tech Guys, one word. We are website lazytechguys.com. The only thing that's different is our YouTube channel, which is Lazy Tech TV, and hopefully this week I can say it correctly, Lazy Tech TV.
Lazy Tech.
And we've got a couple of videos that have gone out. My boy Aoshi-san, who's our gaming editor, has been uploading a bunch of Let's Play videos of him playing the what's it called, Final Fantasy.
Okay.
I'm not sure which number.
14.
It's like I probably sure I guess. um,
Wait, tell me, is he
the
playing a new expansion of Final Fantasy?
I have
Is that the
no
reason he's
idea.
playing? It could be Heaven Sword.
I
It could be Heaven Sword.
sure we'll go with Heaven Sword.
So if you guys haven't
I
figured out, I'm the gamer. He's the tech guy.
I'm not the gamer. Yeah.
Tony is the tech
I'm the
guy.
pseudo gamer that I join in the conversation at the bar like yeah that game is awesome. Don't ask me how to play.
Yeah. And just like, yeah, that looks awesome. Don't ask me how it works.
Don't ask me any details or any of it. I just you go from one place to another. Sometimes you pick up coins. Oh, there are no coins. I don't know what you pick
No,
up
yeah,
then.
there's no. I don't know if there's coins in games anymore. What's the last game that had coins in it? We need to look that up. We need to.
But Sonic had rings. I know
Yeah,
that.
they.
So
But
I
for the
guess
longest, I still call them coins. So. But I guess that's why we make an awesome duo because I'm going to ask you all the tech questions. You can ask me all the gaming questions.
the yin to the yang.
So before we get started, the first thing we always do each and every week on Get the Effing Phone podcast is go through around the room. This is what we've been playing. We'll open up for you guys to also talk about what you guys have been playing. If there's something that you think that we should check out, sometimes we'll mention things that we wish we would be playing, but for the most part, it's stuff that we've been playing. We've been getting into over the past week stuff we really like, and I got to tell you guys about it. And first up, obviously, it is free to play on PlayStation Plus, and I'm a big PlayStation Plus gamer because I actually feel like if you own a PlayStation 4 and you subscribe to PlayStation Plus, if you really didn't want to, you wouldn't have to buy any games for your PlayStation 4. Like you get enough, and then, like just PlayStation in general. You got your PS3 games, you got your Vita games, you got your PS4 games. So there was a game that was released for the month of July, and it was released to everybody, but for PlayStation Plus members, they got it for free, and that is Rocket League. It is awesome to play soccer with cars and Boost and friends because it is multiplayer, it is online, but you can play with bots if you wanted to. You can set up bot matches, but it is just pretty damn fun. Just going ham with a big ass soccer ball on a with a go kart. Have you played? Have you played? So there's the original one. Can you say the name again, Tony? Because I cannot get that name down.
Sure, yeah, the supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle cars, which was released in
I
2008.
should see how fast you can actually say that. Can you say it 2 times fast? I'm not even going to say three
Oh,
times fast. Just give
oh,
it.
supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle cars.
That was only one time.
Oh, that's,
Oh, dude, that's pretty good though. That's
oh,
pretty good.
that's not bad. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. While I'm ahead,
I
we'll leave
I
it
am
at
glad though
that.
that they shortened the name. I'm glad they shortened the name.
Yeah,
Now it's just Rocket
to
League.
Rocket League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Rocket League is free to play for PlayStation Plus subscribers. It is pretty cool. If you guys want to add me, I think I got my gamer tag to show off here. Now I will. Let me preface this with something else. For some reason, I've been having to change the ingest server as we stream to Twitch, and I've changed it now to New York, New York. So hopefully that's going to keep us on air without lagging out because we were having those issues before last week and kind of when we did our what do you call it? Our pre-setup here tonight. But hopefully we stay live. Everything's been looking good so far, and we have been streaming for the past 10 minutes. So I kind of will keep an eye on that. But as I change these lowers, let's watch out for any kind of timeout. But my gamer tag, if you guys want to add me on PlayStation Plus, is P crooked letter P. And I think I have that somewhere here, so it's pretty easy. Nope, that's the follow. So I'm gonna go back there. Maybe I did take it off. I'll get it back up for you guys at some point tonight. I'll get my gamer tag up. And actually, you know what? What I'll do is I would just put it in the chat. That seems to always work best, right? Put stuff in the chat. So, do you have a PS4, Tony?
I'm still on the 3.
Oh, see, that's not gonna work.
Yeah. Nah.
That's not gonna work. I need people to
I'm
play Rocket
you know
League with.
I'm old school, man. Like that's how I that's my argument.
Old school. So wait, you still are we at this point now where we consider the PS3 old school?
Oh no, probably not.
Yeah, I
Cuz
don't
like
think so.
there's still games that are being supported by it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a PS2. That would be old school, or like a PSP. That would be old school. Like,
But see, that's where I get
and
my name
it's
from.
not as old school as like an N64 or like Magnavox or anything like
Yeah.
that, but it's for this generation and how fast technology evolves,
Hmm.
you could to a degree consider it old school. Definitely not retro. So I would draw the line right there, where if you're talking about retro gaming, then you pull out the PS2. It's like, okay, what's
I was just about to say,
yeah,
so it's the
it's
PS2 retro.
I don't know. I don't think it is.
There was
I mean,
the Tony Hawk's game was actually revealed last week, and everybody said it looks like
yes.
a PS2 game.
Yeah, well, it's been obviously the what caught my eye was when they were demoing it at E3. The one of the levels was the airplane hangar.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the that is the level that you learn pretty much all the tricks and everything
Right.
before you move on. And you didn't have to. Remember when Tony Hawk had that stupid skateboard that you actually stand on? You remember that they tried that out?
Oh yeah, yeah, the one
It's like Tony Hawk
was
Ride
that.
or
Yeah, that
something
was
like
right. That
that.
was right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, it was kind of trying to jump along with the whole Guitar Hero rock
Right.
band kind
But
of
didn't you have to use
thing
that
where
with
you,
Connect? Did you have to use that with Connect?
no, that's the thing. It was literally it plugs in, and all you could really do with your tricks is you have to hit the board in such a way that you make your character do certain tricks based off of what buttons that you're pressing on the board,
Okay.
and you could turn the character by tilting the board left to right and do like we stop, like not stoppies, but you do like manuals and nose manuals and things like that. But it's not
See, when that
when you
came
do it.
out, I didn't understand like why would they make that when you could have just utilized the Wii Fit board. I mean, if you wanted to make that game, just make it on
Well, you
Wii Fit
could, but
board.
the Wii Fit board is only for the Wii, and this one would be cross-platform for Xbox
And
and
no
PS3 at the
Xbox or
time.
PS3 gamer was gonna do that. I don't know anyone
Well,
that did
that's
that.
that's the thing, like Xbox, and that's why the Wii was created. Was let's go after the non-gamer gamers, right?
The
I mean,
non-gamer gamers.
yeah, like let's go after the casual gamers that just want to play and have fun, but not get all like hyped up on, you know, on like Monster and Red Bull and go at it and play Animal Crossing till 10 in the morning, yelling at the
Right.
screen. Like I'm sure there's one or two out there, but
Well, it's not a gaming
for the
session
most part,
without Red Bull. know that.
No, it's definitely not. Red Bull and Scotch, I guess, it would be your concoction,
Yes,
but hey,
yes. Well,
whatever
I don't think
works.
I would mix both of those together. I like my scotch kind of unaltered. So, only thing I usually do put
Okay,
in would be some ice. Every now and then, maybe I'll
some
add some ginger ale, like a splash or two.
unadulterated Scotch is
There
probably the
you go.
best.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
All right, so Tony, what have you been playing this past week?
I actually finished Grand Theft Auto 5,
Oh, a
and
completion in the house.
yeah, well, it's completed, in regards to the campaign, story mode, but I still have a bunch of like side missions I can go back and do.
Okay.
Um, and there's a bunch of assassinations that Franklin the character can do. And I know like my son, who incidentally is also his name is Franklin, he told me, "Hey, go look for the UFO. Look for the UFO." I'm like, God, I vaguely remember seeing a walkthrough to find out how to find a UFO, and it's so arduous because you have to drive out to the
Yep.
place, and then you got to do all these other things. I'm just like, I don't. I saw it on YouTube once. That's all I need. I'm not like
See,
him.
yeah. Sometimes it gives you something to do in the afternoon. Go see a UFO. That's it.
Yeah, I guess. But what I had a question for you, and I don't know if you have this answer. So when I finished the game, Franklin, did you play the game?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you know how the end, spoiler alert if you've never played the game, toward the end, the character Franklin has a choice to either kill either one of his friends
Yes.
or move on and try to, go against the FIB or whatever. I chose to be the good guy in essence and go against the FIB and save the lives of Michael and Trevor.
Same here. Same here.
Do you know what happens if you do go and kill them? Like, does the end result end up being the same? Like, you're at pointing guns at each other, like I'm supposed to kill you, and then they somehow in the storyline convince you not to kill them, and
No,
then you go,
basically, from what I remember, I did it once where I killed Michael, and then Trevor kind of like flips sides and says, "Well, you did the right thing. If you hadn't done it, I would have done it." Shit like that. And then, from
okay,
what I saw on YouTube, if I remember correctly, that's the same thing that would happen if you killed Trevor.
okay,
He would say like, "Yeah, good for him. He deserved it. He was asshole anyway." All
okay,
that shit. So like I don't know. They make it seem like it really doesn't matter. I think
yeah.
from the three ending, it really doesn't matter which one you kind of pick.
Well,
I
the one
also wish they had one ending where like you're gonna say fuck them all and kill everybody.
you would think that would be an
Yeah.
option, because I don't know the character arc of Franklin. He seems to be like the psyche, the guy that
Hmm.
has like trying to keep everybody level headed,
All right.
but at the same time he's dealing with a bunch of shit, and these two guys are the ones that are getting him into all this trouble. Like, yes, he has a nice house thanks to them essentially, but at the end of the day, he's got to look over his shoulders all the time thanks to these two yahoos. So yeah,
And
he
that's
could
still
have
the problem
killed
I
them
had
both.
about the whole story. With GTA 5 and then especially when it came to Franklin was like I still don't think like so I guess I can't say that it didn't flesh out his character enough because you do feel the emotional side of Franklin. You do understand what he's going through. But I
To a
don't think,
degree, yeah.
but I don't think that they finished it. Like there is so much more to Franklin that I think like they just left at the end there. They just leave that hanging. If there was any character that I would want to play more of those three, it would be Franklin. Like if there's going to be some DLC, like say some San Andreas stories, as an expansion, I think it needs to
Well,
revolve around Franklin.
they don't have a Franklin DLC, but as you know, they have the online heists. And so I'm
Yeah,
potentially
fuck
going to be
online.
doing that. That's for online. It's with other characters. It has nothing really to do with the
Hmm.
storyline at all. But it's that DLC for free, at least the first episode or whatever is free. And that gives you the ability to still work with Lester as your as the brains behind the operation, and then you have other characters basically that you use to, well, do
Nice.
heists
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I enjoy doing that, and yeah, as Brad said, I'm not the gamer, so my games that I've been playing last week are the same as this week. And incidentally, um, I have continued playing FIFA 15, and my daughter had her birthday party or yesterday,
Okay.
and my cousin's a big FIFA fan, and so he was playing for. He and I were playing with like five of the guys. We were rotating the controller, you know, one on one, two on one, and just going at it for about 5 hours, just soccer, football, whatever, forever and ever. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Actually, my neighbor just bought a Corvette.
Oh,
So it's a 2014 Corvette, and it made me just have to whip out some Forza 5. I just had
I was gonna say,
I
yeah,
had to play some
get that
Forza.
Forza out. This is perfect.
Oh, okay. So we have uh chatter. It's Batman Swag Yeah in the chat room, so you guys can join us on the chat too. We appreciate to hear your comments, concerns, questions, whatever you got out there in the chat. But let's see. Batman Swag Yeah says, so what's your opinion on Hitler and the Joker? Hitler did. I don't even know what all that is. No, oh, Hitler did nothing wrong. Wow, Hitler did nothing wrong. Okay, that's the hashtag. I'm not gonna give my opinion on Hitler, but the Joker. Okay, so
Is this an internet meme that I'm not aware of? Because I know the Suicide Squad just had the release
and I watched
of
that.
their
Did you see
trailer.
that?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I'm very excited about it because I'm not even a big DC guy or even a Marvel guy, but you know my brother's gotten me into the whole comic kind of regime again.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this is an internet meme or if he's just asking our opinion between Hitler and the Joker, um, two maniacal um, people
Yeah.
of their respective universes. But
One fiction, one nonfiction.
true,
But the Joker in Suicide Squad, though, he looks like it can be. I think that's the difference. Okay, so everybody's comparing like, okay, Heath Ledger's Joker from 7 years ago.
right, his portrayal
Yeah,
to what to this guy. Fuck, what's his name?
I cannot remember his name, but I
I know he's the front man for 30 Seconds to Mars. That's all I know. Which
so
is a
that yeah,
band I like.
but that's special to like to have somebody of his caliber acting now and doing this, especially such an iconic role. And then the big question though is having Joker in Suicide Squad, will he steal the show? Like, how can you put Joker in a movie like that and not expect him to steal the show? And I guess even Ben Affleck is supposed to be making a cameo in Suicide Squad as Batman. So how do you get these two characters not to steal the show from the Suicide Squad? There's just a lot of questions. Like Harley Quinn is super serious in that trailer. That's not the Harley Quinn that we know.
I
Um,
thought she was playful.
I no way. Like she is. You talk about maniacal. She looks
Okay,
fucking
all
maniacal
right,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah. She wasn't all like. I see what you're
She
saying.
wasn't as
I
playful as we
thought
know Harley Quinn to be.
she wasn't as playful. You're right, but she wasn't. I didn't see that she was as. I didn't see her as serious. I thought I saw her as sinister and happy for the wrong
Yeah,
reasons.
she's just not that. And chatter is that tags. Two tags two says Suicide Squad looks amazing. It absolutely does. But I think the question is, will Joker steal the show? And is this the Joker we want to see? Like, I mean, the last Joker we have recently after Heath Ledger is just Mark Hamill reiterating his role as the voice of Joker in the Batman video game series.
The games, yeah,
So this new
which he
Joker,
did pretty well for for
oh
what
yeah,
it's worth.
it's
He's
voice
an
acting,
amazing Joker.
but he's still
Sure.
that Joker that we grew up with, even from the
Yeah,
animated
you have to.
series.
Yeah, he portrays that very, very well for that type of character.
Right?
Um, what Batman's asking though, he's saying, which is more evil, Hitler or the Joker? And I don't want to go too in depth about this,
Yeah,
but you know, in my opinion, the Joker was really just kind of just raising hell in Gotham or New York City, Metropolis, wherever he was in the United States. Now, I don't, like I said, I didn't immerse myself into the comics. I don't remember any grand scheme to take over the world,
right, right.
like picking the brain.
Yep.
That's what Hitler wanted to do.
Yeah,
Hitler wanted to say, okay, I'm not just going to kill people. I'm going to pick out specific groups and say that they are lesser and He had an army behind him. Joker has, you know, has a small battalion, not an army, you know. So I would go ahead and say Hitler.
Okay,
Um,
wait. So
uh,
there's a meme out that kind of expresses the way I feel about it. It ends
what's
up
up, Mark?
it ends up being okay. So the meme reads: Remember as a kid where you thought Batman was you thought Batman was the hero and he was the greatest until you grew up and realized that Joker made more sense.
You know what? I came across that, but I didn't actually read it.
Yeah, and
Um,
for me, I
wasn't
really
there like an
understand that.
article related to it as
Yeah,
well?
there's a whole article about it, about
Yeah, I didn't actually read it.
yeah, there's this idea, I guess, like Batman really is like if you look at it truly, Batman is the villain and Joker is the one who made sense because no matter what Joker did, it was always he always did flip the table and say, "You're the one hiding behind the mask. You're the one doing all this, crazy shit, trying to just to catch me." And you just can't kill me. You just can't bring yourself to do it, but you want to be the hero. And all I'm trying to do is make everyone understand that the world needs crazy. The world needs bad. That's what I want people to know. And that's what the Joker is all about. And like you grow up and you're like, damn, that makes a lot of fucking sense. So now if you try to apply that same meme to Hitler, it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. So therefore, I think that's the answer to your question, Batman Sway. So Marty Landy, is that Landy or Lardy? Marty Lardy.
Lardy,
Marty Lardy. I like the name.
Marty
He
Lardy.
says in the chat, I feel that Batman and Joker are like yin and yang. They need both. And that is very
Can
true.
I can I just point out? Thank you for saying yin and not ying.
Oh,
I just want to point
I
that
am a
out because
student of Aikido, so yeah,
oh, I'm a student of Aikido
you can check
too.
that out. All right.
Check that out, dude.
Yeah,
Fourth level, or no, fifth level,
I am not up there. I already know you're.
Keito.
I know you're up there at the black belt, right?
Oh no 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 no! We don't even tangent. We didn't in the school that I went with. We didn't even do belts.
Okay.
It was different levels, and then you got to wear the hakama, and you got to walk around with the actual sword.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got to wear the hakama, but not the actual sword.
See,
So
I went to, and this is way back. Well, man, 20 years ago now. At this point, I stopped when I was 13. But I got up to the second level purple belt, and that was it. I was done.
yeah, when I was younger,
I
they
started
did
playing
belts because
soccer.
when you're a kid, you need to have that trophy and things like that.
Yeah.
When I got older, they're like, "Welcome to real life, no trophy." I'm
Well,
like,
yeah.
"Oh God, I'm so
For me, it was just
I'm
other
so
shit to do.
sorry."
I started playing basketball and football and soccer, and I was just like, yeah, forget this. I'm playing the sports where the girls watch me. Okay, so
Yeah, I thought it'd be cool to learn some sort of martial arts thanks to Karate Kid, but then my mother was like, "No, karate's too violent. I want you to take Aikido because that's self-defense." But then my sensei like, "Well, yeah, self-defense, but let me show you how you can go into the offense." Like, "All right,
there you
I
go.
could knock some heads with this shit."
There
All
it
right,
is.
this is cool.
All right, Batman Swag, yeah. I subscribe to your YouTube. Thank you for subscribing to YouTube. Make sure you check out not just One Like the Plays YouTube, but you can also find LazyTechGuys.com over on YouTube. It's Lazy Tech TV, right?
Got it.
I see. I said it right. I said it right. You can also
Said it right.
follow both of us on Twitter. On Twitter, it's at Lazy Tech Guys for Tony, and for me, we're at One Life to Play. So make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. Chat with us on Twitter too. And if you're gonna subscribe to YouTube, I do ask. I'm asking everybody that watches our YouTube videos because I see the views. Comment on some videos, y'all. Let us know what you think about our videos. We got a lot of time to play sessions. You got to see what I did there, right? With the name One Life to Play,
See.
Time to Play. Yeah, check those time to plays out. We got Mr. Double OP playing League of Legends, so if you're into that, you can check out some of those videos. LEM plays a lot of button mashing games. That's Luigi Eats Mushrooms. He's our other host who's not with us tonight, too. So make sure you guys check out those videos. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff over on YouTube. Um, Tony, you do some other stuff with Lazy Tech Guys. I know you do Twitter along with Periscope, right?
Yeah, so funny story. As I mentioned in pre-show, we were watching the UFC match, UFC 189 on Saturday night,
Yeah.
and I thought, just for the hell of it, let me see how long it takes Twitter to suspend my account if I live stream the event. And it took an exact 7 minutes for them to suspend my account. So I have to email them explaining, "Oh, my bad. This was a social experiment. You guys took a little bit longer than I actually expected, but for what it's worth, good
You
on you,
did your
and I won't
job.
do it ever again." Good job. You did your job. I kudos to you. Good job, Jack. But I will. I also are. I'm on Meerkat as well too, and so you can follow. I'm still active. I'm just not. I'm just not able to what's it called?
To
To
actively participate.
well, I can participate, but I can't broadcast.
Okay.
But then I do also broadcast on Meerkat as well too. So
Okay.
um,
Why would you have
but yeah.
tried that with your own Twitter? Why not just make up another one and then link to it?
Well, I didn't use my personal Twitter.
Well, I mean, still, wow.
Yeah,
I would not have tried that social experiment, but good on, yeah, again, good on you. Now we know 7 minutes
I'm a
response
brave
time.
soul. Seven
It's like
minutes.
you're waiting for the police. All right,
We got a good
I
question from
see it.
Batman,
I
but
see it.
then we'll move
I
on.
see it.
What's your guy's favorite Marvel characters? He likes Wolverine.
My favorite Marvel character. I almost would say Deadpool, only because of his humor.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, it would be his
Yeah.
humor. But overall, all encompassing, I think my favorite character, Marvel, would have to be the Beast. Uh,
Okay.
I just like his,
Okay.
I like his quips from the comic books.
The Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hank McCoy. Like I would have to say the
Hmm.
Beast. Probably second in line, kind of comes to mind is Nightcrawler. I guess I just like the blue guys. I like all the blue guys.
Bring on the blue
Yeah.
guys.
Um,
No, from the cartoon, I always loved Nightcrawler. I really did.
yeah.
Um, God, who would be? I think Cyclops. I really like Cyclops.
Yes, I
Um,
was gonna say Cyclops too, but I think I like Beast more than Cyclops. He's a
um,
badass. He can fight. He's smart. He can solve fucking shit. He can invent shit.
yeah. So he's yeah, definitely. I like the leader kind of characters. Um, and although when you dig deep, he wasn't able to hold on to Jean Grey, obviously, which kind of sucks for him. So I don't know, maybe he needs to fix something going on in the some room. But so there's that. But all the characters have their flaws. If I would fuck any of them, it would be Rogue from the cartoon because her pants are hella thin and she's hella
That
cute.
was not
So
a question, but now that we you bring it up,
I'm just saying.
for me, I would
Um,
have to go with Jubilee.
okay, all right.
I would just love to make a come and see fireworks like all at the same time. That would be pretty awesome.
Fireworks. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Because you know what? Now that I think of it, if I did anything with Rogue, I'd probably die.
Yeah, yeah, you got to stay away from Rogue. Like
It
everybody
wouldn't
knows
even
that.
work.
Everybody knows that. But
Like cover my body in sheepskin. Like I can.
growing up, it wouldn't have been Storm. But then seeing Holly Berry as Storm, then yeah, okay, I fuck Storm.
Berry.
Yeah, she would be up there too. But yeah, wow, that wasn't a question, but that's a good one. He likes the Asian girls. Who's that? Me? Do I like the Asian girls? You like the Southern girls? I got the Asian girls.
There you go. Okay, that's fine.
Wolverine
Isn't
throw
yeah?
her.
Isn't Halle Berry like a quarter Asian or something like that? I don't
Is
know.
she?
Like, I don't know.
That makes
I swear, like,
that makes her even
people
hotter.
are like, I don't know. I don't think it even matters. But
I think she's getting too old to play the role. I need to see Stacey Dash play Storm. Like you can bring Stacey Dash back and let her play Storm. I think that would be the shit. And while Marvel's turning all the other superheroes black, then we need a new Jean Grey and just have Gabrielle Union play her. That's it. Done deal. All right. With all these questions
all
from the
right.
chat room, we're gonna save some of them. I do like this one from Marty Lardy. The choice is who would we want to be as a Marvel superhero, and if we choose choice two is who do you see yourself as? We're gonna save that for a little later in the show. So as we move on, we always touch tech news first. First tech news, and this is kind of sharing in between tech and gaming news, but we do have to say a farewell to Iwata. Nintendo president has passed. Very unfortunate, and I just didn't realize it was that serious because I mean we knew he was sick. We the last we heard from him, he was in recovery, doing fairly well.
Yeah, he
Um,
wasn't at E3, but he was on stage in June,
yeah,
at another event.
yeah, he was. I can't
And
remember which event it was. He was on stage at, but from what we heard, I mean, even him streaming into a lot of the different presentations, even from last year's E3, didn't make it to this year's E3. But he seemed to be turning around. So, Satoru Iwata has passed at the age of 55. Not getting into the causes because I don't like some of the times when people are talking about, his cause of death, just making jokes about it. But the idea is the gaming and tech world has lost a legend. He's done a lot for us. He's made a lot of memories for all of us. And I think it just deserves what every website around the industry is doing is paying tribute to what his history, his work, his body of work has been. Just so many things, man. So many things.
so, one thing he said when he was appointed president, he said, "On my business card, I'm an executive. To my what I like to do, it was something to the effect on my business card, I'm a president. To you guys, what I grew up doing, I'm a programmer, but in my heart, I'm a gamer." And he said it in such a way that not everybody in that position as CEO could say that. Like if you look at the CEO of Sony, um, especially since Sony's so huge, or if you just look at the CEO of the entertainment division of Sony,
Right.
if he said anything to that effect, it would fall on deaf ears. Like people are like, no, you're not. It's this guy was a programmer. He created what was it like
Balloon
balloon
fight.
war, balloon wars, balloon
The
fight
balloon fight.
back in the
Balloon fight.
NES
Yep.
days, balloon fight, and no one really even knew about him. He was the first non-family member to be appointed president of Nintendo since its inception back in was it 1870?
Yeah. It was
Um,
1870, and then a century later, like basically, like just over a century later, he gets named president.
this
So
guy took off his CEO hat and put on his programmer hat to fix the bugs of Super Smash Brothers Melee.
yeah.
What other president is going to do that? I mean, seriously, you look at Tim Cook, for example, and last week we were bashing on Apple a lot. This week we might do it again, so I don't apologize. But the fact is, or even I mean, if Satya Nadella did that right now for Microsoft and fixed an issue with cloud, that would make sense because that's his
That's
business.
his
That's what
back.
he grew
Yeah.
up doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But Peter Moore,
Tim
take
Cook,
Peter
if he
Moore.
did anything like that, he can't really do anything like that. So to see a CEO like get into the trenches
Yeah.
and figure it out, that was amazing. And it's such a shame that relatively at his young age with the sickness that he had, it's going to be he has a big shoes to fill. And in the chat room, Lardy points out that the stock shares actually went up after his death, and he says it's kind of messed up. Would it be messed up if it went down? I'm just being devil's advocate. I guess it would be fine if nothing happened to the stock, but the fact of the matter is, this is gonna sound cold. The world moves on.
Yeah.
When people pass on, the world moves on, and investors say, "Crap, that sucks," but how is this going to hit my bottom level? Like, what's going to happen to my investment essentially?
What the thing
And when
is, you have to realize too, if the stock went up because people who are purchasing this stock, they know that with the death of Awada is They're gonna sell systems. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're gonna sell games. They're gonna sell systems. That's going to happen. So
Yeah, I
why
mean,
not? Why wouldn't they
and,
have?
and Marty says he, worth more dead than alive. But that's with anything. You think, my friend passed away last year in a car accident, and I saw him like maybe once every 2 weeks, and then after he passed, we all we could do was just talk about him and hang out at his house, and we did everything as friends in memory of him because we wanted to remember him so much, and that's what people are doing to a degree. Maybe it is that they're going out to buy the stock, because they want to make sure that nothing bad happens to Nintendo and
That's true
and things
too.
like
Yeah, I was
that.
just about to make that point. So like, it's either you're coming from two different points there when it comes to the stock. You're saying, okay, we want to protect Nintendo because we want to make sure the company goes on through this period. And and on the other hand, you've got investors who are thinking, I want a part in that because I know these products are going to sell. And then from a gamer and technology sense, as a consumer, you're going to buy this product because you can say I got this day. Like, how many consoles do you think they would have sold the day that it would have passed? Like, just to say you owned a Nintendo at that point, you owned that system when you owned that last game he talked about, or you made a pre-order. Here's the thing: the pre-order of like, remember the last game he talked about was the Zelda title.
Mm,
So
yeah.
like think of pre-orders for that at this point.
And and it's funny you mentioned that too, because the last thing that Iwata put out on the internet was, "I'm sorry that we didn't live up to your expectation at E3."
Yeah,
That was his last thing that he said publicly,
yeah.
and he goes out with that, and it's a shame that putting it into perspective. You never know when it's going to happen. Whether you're young or old, healthy or not, you just never
Right.
know. So I mean, I guess whatever we can learn from this is live life to its fullest, and not to sound corny, but it's the truth.
Can't
um
see it any other way.
I there was one other thing that
Nintendo
god.
NX. Marty Lardy brings that up. We need we need more info on that. We need some info on that now. Do you think it still comes? I mean, where does that stand now?
The
The
NX.
NX console, like, I mean,
Mm.
would it still stay on schedule where we still hear more news about it this fall around holiday? Because I think they weren't talking about a release this holiday. They're talking about a 2016 release, but
No,
does
yeah,
this set
because
that
if
back?
they did, you would think that they would say something about that at E3 if they were going to release it this holiday.
Yeah.
But because everything else was announced about holiday this year, at getting everybody revved up. But um I mean, that goes into the next point. Who's going to be the successor? It's not going to be and I forget his name, but the gentleman that basically created Mario. It's not going to be him. I don't think he's going to
Oh,
be the interim CEO or president.
why can't I remember his name now?
Starts with the Masamoto.
Masamoto. Yeah, Masamoto.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that
I
guy.
just hope it's
I mean,
not what's
he
his
is
name.
an icon. He's an icon. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have Little Plumber Guy. But
But I can, but
I don't
you
know.
know what? I could see him. I can see him doing it though. No, you know what? Now, as soon as I said I could see him doing it, I saw him. Then the image came in my head of when he was demoing Wii Music. So no, I can't see him doing it now because that Wii Music shit. Oh my gosh.
Wait, wait. Who is the guy that was in the upcoming movie Pixels that talks to Pac-Man, says, "Oh, Pac-Man, calm down." Pac-Man
That was
like bites his hand.
Miyamoto.
Is that
Yeah, that's
Miyamoto?
Miyamoto.
Okay, all right.
So yeah,
Okay,
I can't
yeah.
see that.
Don't do cameos like that in a crappy movie. Yeah, my son wants to see it. I'm reluctantly gonna go see it with him, but I'm not excited for that movie, and
Did
it
it come
just
out
kind of
already?
makes you look.
Is it out?
No, it's coming out, and it just kind of makes you look bad that you would even agree to it, even though it's kind of a cool kind of like nod
Yeah.
to the retro gamers. But it's still like,
I'm sorry, that
no.
wasn't Miyamoto. Wait, Trader. Let me see. That wasn't Miyamoto. It's a similar name. Creator of Pac-Man. So my daughter asked me, did I want to go see Pixels? And I just looked at it. I was like, um, Pixels, Ant Man. We're going to see Ant Man. Like this. No, stop with Pixels.
Yeah, Miyamoto. He created Mario.
No.
Shigeru
He
Miyamoto.
created Mario, but the creator
Yeah.
of Pac-Man was
Oh, the creator of Pac-Man. Yeah.
Toro Watani.
Okay.
Iwatani, yeah, Iwatani. That's
Okay.
who did Pac-Man. So that's the one that's in the movie. He has like a way shorter crop haircut and stuff, but Miyamoto. So who's the other guy that runs right now? He's not the CEO, but he's like the president of Nintendo. He's big head guy. That's what I call him. He just got this huge, humongous head.
Pac-Man?
No, no, the guy who's always at E3. He's always talking like this, saying dumb shit. I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. Come on, chat people, help me out here.
Chat room. Reggie?
Yeah, Reggie. What's his last name?
Reggie Fils.
Yeah,
Files? Phil.
Phil. I hate that guy. I hate that guy.
Okay.
What is his title there? Because he just every time I see him, I just want to fucking punch the screen.
Executive dumb shit.
Executive dumb shit. Reggie Fils. Why am I getting a Reggie Fils anime? He has an animated series.
Jesus.
Okay. So yeah, that's Nintendo news that we've gotten so far. Reggie Fils. What is his title? Oh, he's president and COO. Yes, chief operating officer.
Is that of Nintendo or Nintendo North America?
That is the North American division.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I
Um,
figured.
Marty Lardy has it right. He looks like Bowser. Yeah,
Get a white guy. Yeah,
he
Bowser.
looks like Bowser. There it is, big head Bowser. All right, so that's Nintendo in the news for tech stories. Also, topping off our tech stories, Microsoft shows up. Microsoft feels like they have money to blow. They can buy a phone company for $7 billion, and what? 3 years, 4 years later, write off
Yeah,
seven
something like
point
that.
six billion dollars.
So let's lose money. And I'm trying to figure out because, like, when Google bought Motorola and then they sold it to Lenovo, they kept the patents. So there was a benefit in losing money because they were able to increase their patent portfolio.
Yes.
So and they also kept their advanced project to do Project Tango and the other thing with the removable blocks like phone blocks. But with Nokia and Microsoft, Microsoft will continue developing for Windows Phone. So
Yes.
if you ever see headlines saying Windows Phone is dead, that's clickbait. That's incorrect. It's not dead. It's just that Microsoft themselves, as a company, doesn't want to invest in building out the actual phones anymore. In fact, they said they will continue to build phones, but only about six a year. Two low end, two mid range, and then two flagships.
Yeah. And I think that's
And
a smart
then
move.
they're
That's a very
it's a
smart
it's
move.
a smart move, and like you said in chat earlier when I shot you this story last week, you said it wasn't surprising,
Hmm.
and I mean you and I we were graciously gifted these phones, the Lumia 830s, and they're great, but they're old. I mean relative to today's level of mid-range phones, they're considered old, and well, I'm not talking about like the actual operating system. Just the physical phone itself is old. And then before the 830, AT&T had the 1525, but that was like over a year ago as well too.
That's
So
two
it's
years
it's
ago.
not
That was
as
2 years ago.
yeah, it's not as concrete as like Android or even iOS at having one new phone a year. So what they're trying to do is kind of find that middle ground between only putting out a limited number every year that they can to a degree control, but then also take the Android route
Right.
and get other partner OEMs to build phones. Now here's the rub: they did that. They did that with HTC. They did that with Samsung. They did that with LG and all of their partners, even HTC with the HTC M8 with Windows Phone, they pretty much said this was a waste of money and a waste of time for us when we're just not gonna continue. And so I don't know how that's gonna work out for them because they are so invested and Android at this point, that as a major manufacturer, they might not need to, they don't feel the need to divest some of their assets to include Windows Phone as an ecosystem. Now, you and I, obviously, we would disagree
Yeah,
to a
yeah,
certain
and
point,
yeah, I
especially
would
with Windows
disagree
10 around.
greatly.
Yeah, I mean, with Windows 10 around the block, and the inception of Continuum from the phone to to the Surface Pro 3 and things like that, making your phone act just like your desktop.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
And
That's
I would even go
amazing.
a step further than that. With the introduction, as announced at Build 2015 this year, with the introduction of Visual Studio Code, it gives HTC, especially HTC of all manufacturers, the reason to make a Windows phone at this point when you can get behind all your partner developers to say, okay, we're going to make another platform phone, but everything that you're doing now can still carry over to this phone.
Can still carry.
Right.
Yeah, you won't
So
have to do as much work or anything
yeah,
like
and
that.
so
Right.
I really think it's not Windows 10 that's making that happen. It's going to be that Visual Studio Code that gives those developers the reason to not just say this is something we can do, but then force the hand of HTC and Samsung and LG to say, make me a phone so I can have it on this platform. Because once I make, and you know how apps are developed nowadays. Once I make an app for a phone, if that app can run on your PC, whether it's Mac or PC, if that app can then run in that platform too, I have made hand over fist money now. And all I have to do is make that app for your phone first. And Microsoft is learning from that. Microsoft has learned over these years, phone first, mobile first, and everything else will follow. So if you make Windows 10 saying that with Continuum, like you mentioned, everything that I have on my mobile phone would then go hand in hand and adapt when I put it on a larger screen or a larger device. You're saying that, okay, developer, stay on your phone, make an app for Android, or take the app that you've already made for Android, bring it over to this other mobile platform, and then that mobile platform will give you the engine to grow it and be on desktops and be on TVs and be built into smart TVs. And they're giving them that ability to say, we're going to help you grow your business by just allowing us to grow our technology footprint. And I think that's where it's really going to come to fruition. Now you mentioned like earlier about like how Microsoft is going to handle that, but I think the only question is Nokia is still a company. Like no one's really realizing this. Like Nokia is still a company out there.
Yeah, Microsoft only bought the handset division. So
Yes.
Nokia still has like their towers, their chipsets. They have their whole mapping division as well too. And there was a rumor that they were going to sell the mapping division off to Uber
Right.
because Uber really needs maps internally. Um, but Microsoft can use the Nokia name on their phones until 2015 or until the end
Until
of
the end of this year.
2015. Right, and Microsoft has already started to stop doing that. Like, in fact, if you buy a Lumia now, it's called the Microsoft Lumia such and such 635 or
Right.
whatever. So they've already stopped doing that, just so to diminish any kind of confusion that might come along the way. In fact, at CES this past year, Nokia showed off a an Android tablet that looks very similar to an iPad Mini,
Yeah.
and I mean, just altogether, it looked like an iPad Mini. So yeah, they're still doing stuff. You're right.
Right. But
They just can't use like the Lumia name or anything like that.
yeah, what they're still doing stuff. You compared it earlier to Google and Lenovo, and that's the $0.6 billion that Microsoft lost. Instead of just taking the patent in and going and making their Windows phones earlier, they tried to lean on the name of Nokia. They tried to lean on that, and that's what wasn't working. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it took them $500 million to learn that. Like that's not going to
I
work.
mean, it was a because like what had happened was Stephen Elop was originally a Microsoft employee, and Steve Ballmer said, "Hey, you essentially said, hey, I'm gonna get you to go basically lead Nokia over there in that handset division, and we're gonna throw a Windows Phone on there." And that's what they did. And then Steve Ballmer solidified the sale. Because Nokia was on, I think it was Elop basically said, "We're on fire. We need help."
Yeah,
And Bomber came in to the rescue and said, "All right, Microsoft will buy Nokia. Oh wait, I'm getting fired now, and here's Satya Nadella." And Satya Nadella basically has said, not publicly, but has said to a number of sources that he was not in agreement with the purchase of Nokia whatsoever.
There's
So
nothing it can
this
do for the
isn't
business. There was nothing that he could
right.
have
This
done.
isn't surprising from him at all. And Microsoft is in the hardware business, but when it gets this crowded,
Yeah, see,
especially with
you're
phones,
onto it now.
it you need to do something to differentiate. And there's only so much that you can do when you control the whole pipeline. And you
Hindsight
know,
is
we,
2020. But when you
yeah,
think
we're
about
starting to
it,
see that.
when Satya Nadella came on board of Microsoft, and he stated that about it being a bad deal. What were they doing at the time? You have to remember what they were doing. Microsoft never made a hardware to that point. And the hardware that they made 4 years ago or 3 years ago was the first Surface. So there was no reason for them to enter a mobile market when they were only just now making hardware for PC users. Like,
Right. And the Zune wasn't so good either,
yeah,
right? I mean, if we're looking at like past history, the Zune was great for you Windows like go-getters, the
if
Windows
you love
lovers, but
Winamp, you love the Zune.
you love the Zune. But when you look at the overall market share and things like that, the Zune just really didn't do it for a lot of people, although it was very innovative in a lot of its cases. It had a built-in radio, FM radio, which
Yeah.
at the time the iPod didn't have. So that was one thing. But when it came to like just like the design level and just how the design UI compared to iOS, it wasn't as minimalistic or as sexy. I guess no, it wasn't even iOS back in the day, but it wasn't as sexy as the
But the
iPod.
Zune HD was
And
sexy as hell. I love it. I still got my Zune HD.
do
That
you?
was sexy as hell. I love
I
that.
think
The
mine's
slim.
mine's in my.
I love that thing. But Marty Lardy in the chat, he says, I've always wanted a Zune phone. Um, that would be great to have. I would want one of those right now, but unfortunately, I guess it's going to be the Groove phone if they make one.
The Groove
The
phone.
Groove phone.
Hey, what do you think about this? I don't know our chat last week or if it was who mentioned it, but
Yeah,
um,
breadsticks.
a girl, ooh, yummy. A girl mentioned to me that she said that she loves the Surface so much she wants them to make like a Surface phone, like the same UI of the Surface, the same kind of make of the Surface, like kind of like the Surface Mini that was rumored to come out last year,
But they
but it
will.
would be a phone.
You just have to give Microsoft time. Like they're just learning how to do it the right way. And with Windows 10 and the next flagship phone that will soon be available, um, I'm really hoping it's going to be the end of this year. But even if we have to wait until spring of next year, I doubt they. I don't. I can see Microsoft coming out with the phone before CES 2016. They will come out with their flagship phone. And when that phone comes out, it cannot be small. It will not have less than a 6-inch screen. I would maybe
Microsoft,
five and a half inch, 5.5 inch screen.
true, yeah. Microsoft usually, unless like their flagship phones, they've usually announced it at IFA in Berlin, which is September,
Hmm.
or CES or Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. So those would be like the three major events. They've done some minor, private events that they've announced their phones, but it's always been like mid-range
Yeah,
phones for like India. I don't discount what you're saying. I think they can't get out of the mobile market. Although I mean they're never going to be out of the mobile market because they have about 50 apps on Android and about 40 apps on iOS, and a lot of people don't even know that. I
yeah,
mean,
Microsoft Garage. Yeah, Microsoft Garage.
yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
so there's a
Skype is
there's an
Microsoft,
app
as
right
for
now. I gotta
example.
actually mention right now. There's an app called what's the name of it? Let me get out of this. It is called Toss Up. Find it
Yeah, that
on
came out
Yeah,
today.
find it. Actually, I had it last week. I
Did
was
you?
using it
Oh,
over the weekend in Chicago. But find Toss Up. It's I actually spell it in the chat here. I gotta get my lowers up and stuff so I can actually do these things. But it is from Microsoft Garage. It works phenomenal. You basically put in your friend's SMS text number, and you can have this like group chat, but it's a chat where you can actually chat over maps. You can chat over places and interests and things to do. You can put polls inside of these group messages. So, like, you can poll your friends. You can post photos, like, way easier than having to send, like, this group SMS and stuff like that. Like, the polling feature is just the best part about it. Like, to be able to ask a question inside of a group text, and then get immediate responses back and see who's saying what, and just get an idea. The idea of the app was built to, like, if you were with a group of friends and you guys want to decide where you're going to eat or what you're going to do tonight, instead of waiting for everybody's response in group text or group and texting one person and then going back and texting someone else, you could do this in this more collaborative sense. It is an awesome app. The best thing
You
I've seen
know,
Microsoft Garage do yet.
what it reminds me of is Slack. Have you ever played around with that
No.
app? Slack is a productivity app that a lot of like groups, businesses use, and it's fairly much the same thing. It's a messaging platform that allows you to share documents and things of that nature. It also has polls. It also has a lot of collaborative capabilities, but it is more geared toward the enterprise or businesses. Toss Up sounds more of a social thing.
Yes.
And that's great because that's the thing. Like Slack really works in a business collaborative environment, and it works so well that people tend to use Slack on the desktop or on their phones just to chat.
Yeah.
And so now Microsoft is, or at least their garage sector is seeing that, hey, let's take advantage of this market now, build a really good immersive app that works across all platforms, and let's see how it goes. And I'm glad to hear from your firsthand account that it's working well because I only saw the demo video,
Hmm.
and I honestly the first thing that came to my mind was not another messaging app. But I mean, from
That's
your
what you would
standpoint,
think, right? Yeah.
yeah, but that from your standpoint, it sounds like it's way more than that. And if you can convince your friends and family to download the app, that's the other thing. I mean, I guess with any app to take to make it worth your while and worth your hard drive space, you need your friends and family to
Yeah.
download
Yeah.
it. And that's one thing that for me, I'm in my world, I'm influential with all my tech guys, but with my family, that's another thing. Like, hey, Dad, go download WhatsApp or download GroupMe because it's when I send you a photo, it doesn't get degraded and compressed like it does when I send you it as an SMS. And he's like, or an MMS,
He's
and
like, what
my
the
dad
fuck
would be
does
like,
that mean? What the
I don't.
fuck?
Well, he knows what that means, but he's like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Or just
It's not that big
just
of a
send it to me
deal.
on email or
Yeah.
send me a link or something. So.
That's pretty cool.
Obviously, best of luck to Microsoft. But going back to this whole, shutdown. The other thing is, they're going to be laying off about over 7,000 people, and the majority of them are going to be from this tiny town in Finland that basically is the factory town that makes all the phones. And it's a shame, and it's not something to scoff about, and it's not something that was a decision made lightly,
Hmm.
because when this factory goes unless they can figure out how to else use the factory maybe for a different manufacturer or something. But that's the shitty thing about business. Like you're looking at your bottom line and you're saying, you know what, we're losing money versus gaining money, so let's get rid of this. And yes, we're not going to be in the mobile game as much as we might have as much as Bomber might have wanted us to,
Right.
but this way we can do our own thing. But by doing that, we're ruining thousands of lives in the long run, because it's not just the factory, it's the town that supports the factory, and it's everything from there on out: the schools, the restaurants, everything. The economy in that area is going to go it won't go belly up, but you've seen what happens to factory towns when the factory shuts down. And then there's a whole movie called My Bloody Valentine that made after it.
I
but
still have not
but
watched
yeah,
that. I still have not watched that.
don't just
Just don't
that's
do it.
stupid. Just don't. It's dumb. Whatever. Just go look at a synopsis on IMDb. That's all you
Okay.
need.
So I'm doing. We're doing something different here tonight too, and this will be on the replay too. The most you participate in the chat room as you're watching, get the effing phone. You get shout outs that get actually archived along with the show. So I'm going to give a shout out right now to Marty Lardy in the chat. So we
Yeah.
want you guys to come talk some gaming with us too. Get in the chat room over on twitch.tv/one like to play. How can they find you over at Lazy Tech Guys, Tony?
LazyTechGuys.com, at LazyTechGuys on Twitter, or just look us up on YouTube, Lazy Tech TV.
You got it. You got it right. First shot.
I
Good
got it
job. There
right.
we
Yeah.
go.
Marty mentions Detroit. Yeah, I mean, look at Detroit. All the shutdowns of all those car factories. And Detroit as a city is God. I mean, when I went there, I was lucky enough to stay at the higher the Marriott Renaissance, which is essentially also the GM building.
Okay.
So we were spoiled, and at first glance, like, oh, this is what Detroit is. It's great. It's awesome. Windsor's right over there. We're gonna go gambling. But then you walk like ten blocks that way, and it's just, you know, it's just a shame, man. It's that's families, that's Americans, and I mean, or not just Americans, that's just people,
Yeah.
and they have they have no other option because all the other factories are full with employees, and they have to do other things to just they got to hustle just to live, and it's a terrible thing. It's a
And
tragedy.
Marty already says, I wonder who's going to pick up the real estate in Finland. That's going to Microsoft, of course. You don't write off over $7 billion and don't still walk away with something now. That's going to go to Microsoft.
Yeah, but what are they gonna do with it? Just put up office buildings? That's
Yeah, why not? They need them. They need that shit. Here we go. Cool video stream. Cool video for the stream. Hope Desk Corporate. Don't know what that is. So Landshark. Let's keep that
Yeah,
down.
please tell us
Yeah,
what that is before
yeah,
we
let's keep
click
that
on
down.
it. I mean, no disrespect to you, but we just want to be
Yeah, just want to know what
want
that is.
just want to make sure we know what that is.
So moving on to tech news, we'll wrap up the little tidbits here. Ellen Powell resigns from
Yes.
Reddit.
Wow.
She has seen the light in the door
Wow.
and
Yeah.
walked out of it.
Mhm.
Walked right
Hit
through
her
it.
on the way out.
She's
Yeah.
yeah. The door did hit her in the ass on the way out because
Pretty much.
there was a huge silent applause around the internet when this happened. So
Well, I
original
don't know if it was
creator,
very silent. I think people
it was
were
pretty loud.
extremely happy to see this.
Creator of Reddit, Steve Huffman now back over. Do you say that? Back over, takes the reins again over
Yeah,
Reddit.
we'll go with that.
So we'll see more from Steve. See if some things change. See if he listens to his audience. I think that's the biggest thing. Listen to your
That's
audience.
the biggest thing. And for those of you that watched the chat last week, there was a member in chat that mentioned to us that if you like what Reddit used to be, where you had unadulterated content, you could put up anything without any fear of it being taken down or castigated or anything like that. Go check out Vote. Vote. I think it's vote.se. Vote VOAT. It's actually a site from Switzerland. It's in English, or what, I guess whatever language that you prefer, and it uses the same kind of template of Reddit, but the moderators there just let you do shit whatever you want to
You
do.
say
I
is what
mean,
vote?
voat.se, I believe, is the. I mean, you can just Google vote and it'll come up, but it's like Reddit without the barriers. And like we were talking last week, that could be a good thing and a bad thing. It's all dependent on your view of the freedom of speech, depending on your upbringing, your country, and or just your personal values, things like that. I would hate for my son to go to that website, for example, and type in like My Little Pony, because he's a brony, and I'm happy that he is because he enjoys it. Got
Oh,
no
the
no qualms
bronies.
no qualms about that. But if he types in My Little Pony and he gets all this like My Little Pony porn with child porn next to it, then I'm like, okay, there's the issue that we have, which Reddit would, in a sense, would to a degree fix because of the hardworking moderators that Reddit has. So that's just something that it's a new site. And they have a lot of things they got to kick the tires a little
All
bit,
right,
but that's the beauty of the internet,
that's
like
what you do.
if one Goliath goes down, then another website's going to come up, and that's just going to keep on happening, and people are just going to go where they can go. There's always going to be a place for that kind of good stuff and bad stuff.
So let's get on to some gaming news. Speaking of apps and Android, the Twitch app we are on right now, twitch.tv/one like to play. Pretty awesome news with the Android app. I have not gotten this to work yet. I don't know what to do to get it to work, but apparently the Twitch app on Android will now allow you to use a pop-out player to where you can play your Twitch streams over other apps. I don't know how that
That's cool.
works yet.
That's really cool. If it's anything like Samsung has done with their TouchWiz that allowed you to pop out videos so you could still go on Facebook and your
Yeah.
email all while seeing the video in a little window, kind of like we have on our TVs, like picture in a picture. And if the resolution is good for that video size of whatever it is that you're watching, that's awesome.
So when I was using it on TouchWiz though, I never really found the moment where I needed to do that. Like if I was watching a video, I was watching the video. I'm not Facebooking on my phone. No matter how big my phone is, I'm not on my phone trying to watch a video and do something else at the same time. I'm just not. I don't have an applicable instance when I need to do that.
So here's when I did. You send me a text message instead of me having to pause the video, go out of the text message and reply and then get into a conversation with you. I could do all that while still having at least 1.5 eyes on the video on the same
But that's
screen.
the thing. My
So that
video is full screen though. My text comes up as a pop out. I'm not popping out the video to make it smaller to go do something else though.
I guess it depends on what you're watching because when I used to do it, I was watching like the X Files, and that was something that I didn't necessarily need full screen video because it's not action flick. It's a lot of talking and a lot of like talking about the conspiracies and shit like that. So when there was time that I had to look at the screen because there's that alien and the black oil and all that other stuff, then I would look at the screen, but. Um, there were definitely some times where I was watching the movie and someone sends me a text. I'm like, oh, good. I don't have to leave the movie. I can still kind of have them side by side. It's not an everyday occurrence, but it was one of those, I'm glad this is available to me kind of
What
things.
I would rather have had instead of popping out the video, I would have rather had the audio still remain playing in the background if I went to do something else, so I can at least
YouTube
hear it.
does that.
Yeah, yeah. So at least I can hear it,
Yeah,
but not be
YouTube
necessarily
does that
watching it.
if you pay for it. Yeah.
So that would be a feature I would want to see in Twitch, instead of just popping out the video. But I understand how it does help people. What I think they should have focused on instead, the last Twitch app. I think it was not, I won't even say the last one. The very first iteration of the Twitch app on Android allowed you to pop out the chats and overlay that over the video. You can't do that anymore, unless you keep your phone in portrait mode. You can see the chat and
Oh,
your video at the
really? You
same
have to
time.
do
Yeah,
portrait?
you have to do portrait if you want to chat and the
Oh,
video at the same
that's
time.
bootsy.
But with the first iteration of that Twitch app allowed you to overlay the chat on the video, and I did like that. So I think they need to bring that back and focus on that, versus the video over my text messages, over my Facebook. I don't understand. I just haven't found a use for it yet. So we'll see if I ever get to using that and loving it. But that is out there, guys. That's out there. Other gaming news, we got the Halo franchise. Who loves Halo? This
Woo!
guy. Halo
That
franchise
guy.
has hit over 65 million units sold across all Xbox consoles. And this is it's kind of a skewed. It is really a
Uh-huh.
very skewed number because they are including Xbox One, not Xbox One, but the first Xbox,
The first Xbox, yeah.
and they also are counting Xbox bundles with Halo. So that, and if you remember, there was a Halo bundle that came out that had Reach and ODST. There was one that came
Yep.
that had Halo 3 and Reach. There was one that came that had ODST and Halo 4. And
But they
now,
had the Master Chief bundle as
yeah,
well
yeah,
too.
that's what I'm saying. They got the Master Chief one, and that's where I'm wondering if, so when you talk about them including bundles, are they talking about when the Halo franchise or the Halo Master Chief Collection came out? Are they counting each of those individual games in that as one, or are they still talking?
Um,
And that's where I'm thinking,
I
like, did that put them over
yeah.
the hump when they sold Master Chief Collection in the bundle, and then they're able to count all five titles within that one bundle? as separate units. And so I haven't found out that yet. You know me, Tony. I do a lot of when I read a story. I don't just read that story. I end up starting doing a lot of you know just investigative research at that point, trying to
Sure,
get down to the bottom
sure.
of it. And I have not found an answer to that yet. But I'm really concerned with whether or not they're counting each individual title within the Master Chief Collection as a unit, or if that is one unit as a whole. But when I do find out, we'll update. We'll probably talk about that some more. But 65 million units of Halo. It's still an impressive number.
It's impressive. The thing is, I talked to some people that are big Halo fans, and they're obviously very excited for Halo 5. The question that, we saw Warzone, which is the multiplayer, full on sandbox, which looks awesome. But there's obviously the naysayers that are basically going to say they're kind of like what you said with Fallout, which is the next Halo is just going to be another Halo. There's the buttons are the same, the guns there might be a few new guns and
Right.
whatnot, but at the end of the day, you can play Halo 4, and compared to Halo 5, graphics might not be as good, but it's still a good game to play. And my argument to that is, well, you could say that about any game, any kind of franchise. For the longest time, I played Madden 2012, even when it was 2014. It's like because I didn't want to go out and buy a new Madden. I personally didn't care about the roster being different and the fact that Colin Kaepernick was the quarterback at that point and no wasn't on reserves anymore. Like I didn't, that was something I could just deal with. Um, but uh, what's going to be interesting to see is if we can get definitive numbers with the new Halo to see how many people are buying the bundles for Halo 5, if they do have a Halo 5 bundle, or if they're just getting the single game.
Yeah.
And I just like to see those numbers to see how many people are just having to buy a new Xbox One because that's what they've been waiting for, or if they have the Xbox One and they're just adding the new game to their collection. I do want to answer this question from Marty, though. It's interesting. I like these questions, Marty. Since Sega has Sonic, Xbox has Halo, Nintendo has Mario, what is Sony's mascot?
Yeah, that is okay.
I
So
would,
when
I
they're
want to
saying Xbox
say,
has Halo, they're saying Marty, you're pretty much saying that Master Chief is the mascot of Xbox.
sure,
Master Chief
yeah.
himself. Okay.
I would say Snake from,
You think?
I think so.
Well, if you think about it, well, I guess Sonic is a different animal and is itself an animal. But I think when you got to think about mascots, you got to think about something that doesn't show up on another console, though. Now, we've only lately seen Sonic on another
Oh yeah, no,
console.
you're right, you're
You
right, you're
know,
right, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, just with the Sonic 4 and Sonic Dimensions, you see them on another console. But these are characters that only exist in their flagships as being on that console solely, exclusively. So I think if you think about it, the 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 mascot of Sony has to be a tie between two people, and it's bad to say because they're people, and I think that's where it kind of hurts. Like that, and that's why I'm asking about Halo when you think of Master Chief. Now, Master Chief, you haven't seen his face, so he's not really like humanistic as a person, but he's a man. He's a being, and human being. But when it comes to Sony, they're more realistic in that, and I have to say that it's a toss up between Kratos and Nathan Drake
Oh, so God of War and
and
Uncharted.
Uncharted. That's
See, because what he's saying is because like Sonic's been around for a while, Halo's been around for a while, Mario's been around for God knows how
yeah.
long. Kratos and Nathan, they've only been around for just relatively just a few years.
Well, no, but God of War has been for since PS2. So I would think that if you had to think about
Okay,
if you had to
yeah,
think about a
okay then,
mascot
yeah,
for
that's
Sony,
that's true, that's true, that's
it would
true.
have to be Kratos. I think it would have to be Kratos.
Again, this is me, the non-gamer, not realizing the
Yeah.
lineage of these characters, but yeah,
Yeah, I think it would have to be Kratos. If I went any farther, then I can think of maybe Crash Bandicoot.
I was gonna say Crash.
I
Yeah,
get I get
that was one.
you can
Yeah,
go back to
actually,
PS1 with that.
that was the reasoning behind getting the PS4, PS3. My wife bought the PS3 as a birthday present to me, and an agreement that I would buy her Crash Bandicoot so she could play,
Yeah.
but she never played. She played it like twice. She played that in DDR, and then she just never played it
And
again.
then, so when I think about
Um,
Crash Bandicoot, the next thing, Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I'm just almost gonna say that Sony doesn't really need a mascot because they have the exclusives that they have are so timeless that you have this group of characters that just remind you of Sony. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say they have a mascot team, not one single mascot. They have a team, and it's gonna be Nathan Drake, Kratos, Crash Bandicoot, and Ratchet and Clank. That's gonna be the
Man,
mascot team.
I'll tell you this: if we ever went to war with them, we get our asses kicked.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's
Like, is
that's a
that
team right
Kratos?
there.
Yes, it is. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here.
And I also agree with Marty Larry
Gonna
too,
log out.
with Cloud. When you think of Cloud,
Think of Cloud,
he's
yeah.
out there too. But yeah, there's a whole team of mascots for Sony, and I don't think they need to. They're not. There's no reasoning for them to have to pick one. When you can put that lineup out there, and then throw in fucking Sackboy, yeah, you get scared and then you get all cute and fuzzy with it.
Oh, that's
They
true.
win.
You could even think Sackboy is being possibly, a mascot.
And no other console maker can say that they have a team. Like when you think of Sega, it's gonna be fucking Sonic. You think Halo, okay, maybe you can put Master Chief or you can put Master Chief alongside Marcus Phoenix, but that's pretty much all you're gonna get. And then when you think Nintendo, you think Mario, but as soon as you think of Mario, then you bring his entire family along with him. And then the only other person that you could throw alongside Mario's family would be Kirby. So I fucking love Kirby. He's the best. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go there. I see what you were going with Snake, but it's just these past few years what they've done with Metal Gear. I don't think I can get behind him being a mascot of Sony because he's at this point a traitor, going to
So
the other console.
Marty also asked another question. Then we'll move on to the rest of our topics. Will the Final Fantasy VII be exclusive to the PS4? About 4 days ago, I would say yes, but
Yeah, that's not happening anymore.
according to EB Games, Final Fantasy VII Remake will release on Xbox One eventually.
Yeah, it's a timed exclusive. So
It's a timed exclusive. Yeah.
I think that remake is going to strongly push what Morpheus is doing, and then after
Hmm.
that, you will see that fold over into Xbox through Oculus. So um, yeah, I think that remake is a big push for VR on these consoles. The way that looks and the when they show the trailer is always this if you look through that trailer, I was paying attention to this a lot because I probably watched that trailer maybe 10 or 11 times by now. It's a huge push towards looking upward. If you notice, it's always just looking at the sky, then a lot of spinning around, and I really think that's just a foreshadowing of what they're going to do with bringing that to those VR peripherals. So I can see when that debuts that there will be a lot of backing behind the Morpheus and Oculus on both of those consoles for that. Moving on because we're pushing 2 hours here on this podcast, and we do want to keep it under 2 hours, so it's one solid video on YouTube. Mob Crush is a mobile streaming platform that was in closed beta on iOS. It has now dropped its closed beta tag, which means it is available on iOS and OS X, which is very interesting. That you rarely do see an iOS app being created for both iOS and OS X at the same time, especially being in beta and releasing to the public hand in hand. And it looks like that will be soon coming to Android and Windows, which is very awesome. Now, Mob Crush
This
is basically a streaming app for mobile games.
mobile games. That's the interesting thing. I don't think we've seen that because Twitch on mobile just allows you to watch broadcasts. It doesn't let you broadcast what you're doing.
Hmm.
So I think that's really a good idea, and I think in a few years we're going to see this being gobbled up by Google or Amazon.
And every now and
To
then,
be on
yeah,
to be honest with you.
viewers have seen I on the One Life to Play Twitch stream. I will stream some Clash of Clans every now and then. Also some Witcher 3, the MOBA, the online MOBA that's on Android. I'll stream that through Twitch. But what I'm doing is basically using my wireless display adapter from Microsoft. I plug that into my HDMI on my Elgato Game Capture, and then I stream my phone to the wireless display adapter, and then that allows me to stream into Twitch. But now I can actually be on the road. I can be on the fly, and I can stream my mobile game to a service. And I just can't wait till that lands on Windows and Android, because like right now, obviously, I don't own a Apple mobile device, but the idea that, well, I do, I just don't use it. I have like 2 iPads of my own, and my kids have their own iPads too, but I don't use my iPads. I probably should sell my iPad. I don't know.
Yeah, just
I
sell it
don't
or
even
go
use it. I
gazelle
don't
it.
even use it. Like every now, it's so funny. Sidebar. I actually have my iPad. I have the newest, well, not the newest iPad, but the newest iPad of my household. I have the iPad 3, the third generation iPad. But I actually
Okay.
have it sitting on my dresser. And like every day or so, every couple days, I actually just hit the home button just to see what the battery percentage is. Because I don't charge it, I just leave it sitting there, and every now and then my son will grab it, but then I know I have to charge it. But it will sit there for like a week and a half, and just every other day or so, I'll just hit it just to see what the battery usage is. And my daughter, when she's home, she'll end up saying like, "Yeah, I heard this ringing or these dings. I thought you guys were here or something, and I didn't know where it was coming from." And I realized like I get Facebook messages and stuff, and it
Oh,
does
on
the
the
alerts on
iPad.
the iPad, and that's just what's going
Yeah.
off, and it's just on my dresser in my room. But yeah, I don't use that thing. But now knowing that this Mob Crush, is it Mob Crush or Mob Crush? I don't know how they want to say that.
I would call it
I think it's
Mob
Mob Crush.
Crush.
But
Yeah.
knowing that it's available now on OS X, I might actually download that on the MacBook and actually see if I can stream maybe some Heroes of the Storm through that app, if that's available. Or I don't know if the app on OS X is only allowing you to view streams or if it actually allows you to stream from your MacBook. But that would be interesting to see now that it's in public beta. We'll check that out.
Yeah, and it's still in closed beta for Android right now, but if you go to mobcrush.com/beta, you can sign up there.
I should probably do that for Android then.
Fuck, I'm gonna do that right now.
So while Tony's doing that too, make sure that you guys find us on YouTube. We're on YouTube, One Life to Play, the number one, the number two, just like it says right there at the top of the header, and on the Twitch stream that you kindly found your way over towards. You can find Lazy Tech Guys on YouTube at Lazy Tech TV. Also check out their website, lazytechguys.com. You can check out One Life to Play, onelifetoplay.com. That's a lot of stuff to check out. But again, if you Google either one of it, you will find it everywhere. Just make sure you guys get involved in the community, do what we're doing, talk some games, talk some tech, share your thoughts, share your opinions, just like Marty Lardy is doing over in the chat room on twitch.tv/one like to play. We're going to wrap this up with some upcoming tech and games. We really only have upcoming games, which is pretty awesome. One that's up, Neverwinter, through a statement from Trevor Kidd, brand manager over at Cryptic Studios. He was on a podcast, Wizards of the Coast. They were doing a live stream, and he stated that Neverwinter, which is free to play right now on Xbox One, the top free to play game on Xbox One right now, may be coming to PS4 sometime in the future, in the near future, as he states. So you guys can look out for that on the PS4. Now the PS4 has a lot of RPGs, especially multiplayer online RPGs. They call those something MMORPGs, MMORPGs. They have a lot of them on PS4 right now. They have DC Universe. They have what's the one that everybody plays? Warframe. They have now they have PlanetSide 2. They have Final Fantasy, but now it looks like they may be getting Neverwinter. So that's pretty awesome to see coming. There was one more, but I can't remember which one that was. That was coming to. There's another game that's coming to PS4 that was pretty awesome. Which one was that? Well, I'm gonna find that. Okay, I can't find it right now. We'll probably talk about it next week then. I can't find which game they were talking about. It's coming to PS4. Oh, okay, so in other news, this is some upcoming stuff. We call this little small piece attention you because this is some stuff that's going to matter to you. I am I am big with Star Wars. I kind of wrote this wrong in the write up.
Oh yeah.
But Star Wars is very interesting. I read a lot of Star Wars fan fiction novels, just of the entire Star Wars universe. But it looks like with this upcoming movie, Episode 7 for Star Wars, it looks like there will be some books to bring us up to speed on what's going on before The Force Awakens starts. And one of those, not one of those, there's a lot of those books. This
There's 5
was,
of them.
yeah, this was something that George Lucas hinted at back in December of last year. He said that there will be some things to kind of close the gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. And it looks like we're going to be getting this in about 20 books. So 20 books, people. There will be, first up, coming this September, or by September, there will be 5 novels or of novel length, along with a 5-part comic series that's going to bring us up to speed. Now, these novels, I don't want to get into all of
Wait, so
the names
so
of these.
5 novels and 5 comic book series, or a 5-part comic book series, um, in September, October, November, December. So I got 3 months to read them
Yeah,
or listen to them through Audible.com.
yes. So
All right,
is,
let's do this, Broham.
get it done.
I got to get it done because I enjoy my Star Wars fan fiction from time to time. I have a lot of issues with Star Wars Legends or the expanded universe as it used to be called. I have a lot of issues with that because a lot of people take way too much. In my opinion, they take way too much artistic license to just go with things, and they over-explain things that don't need to be explained. In my opinion, but they're having fun with it. They can write way better than I could ever
Yeah,
write for that. But to have something that is in written lore and it's canonical, that is great, especially for those that want to have those questions answered. And, one thing that Star Wars has done in the past is they've taken things that were from the expanded universe and put it into canon. Case in point, Coruscant was originally a planet in one of the expanded universe novels, and they actually implemented that obviously into episodes 1, 2, 3,
right.
and kind of into 6 if you watch the special edition, which is gross. But yeah, this is great. I just won't have any time to do anything else.
If you,
How am I going to listen to all my other podcasts?
yeah, if you're really interested, if
Seriously.
you're really interested in reading some really cool stuff that happens about 40 years after Return of the Jedi. There's a series of books titled Fate of the Jedi. And I believe it's probably about 7 books long. It ends with Crucible, which is not of the Fate of the Jedi series, but Crucible kind of wraps everything up that has to do with that series. But Christy Golden, she writes a lot of books about the World of Warcraft universe. But she lent her skills to do some of these Fate of the Jedi series, and she did a fantastic job on staying true to canon, introducing new characters, and really hitting home what the Star Wars universe is all about. The whole mystery of it, the suspense out of it, and then giving some more history on what the Jedi and um,
What did you say it was called?
I'm drawing a blank here. The Sith were all
Wait, did you?
about. It's Fate of the Jedi. So is Troy Denning did a lot of the books. His work weren't as great as what Christy Golden did, but he still kind of brought out a lot of history of some questions you had about the elders and the ones, when it comes to the Force. And it is a very interesting series. I say that's a must read for any Star Wars fans.
There are 9 books.
There are 9 of them. Is Crucible at
9
the end there,
books.
or does Crucible show
The
up?
9th book is actually Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. So after Apocalypse, there's something that happens, and you have to find out what happened. You have to read it to find out what happens. But then because something happens, there's a real cliffhanger at the end of that. So you try to figure. I tried to find out what book came after that, and the only one I found, everybody said read X-Wing, but then I got a lot of thoughts of, or a lot of feedback from people saying don't read X-Wing. It's a waste of time. Just go right to Crucible. So I read Crucible first.
Do you mean Conviction?
No conviction.
Conviction
No
is book
convict. Yeah,
7.
conviction is one of the series. Conviction is part of the Fate of the Jedi, but Crucible is not. Crucible.
Oh, that's a different
Hold on a
series.
second. Yeah, it's not even a series. It's like a spin-off. So X-Wing
Okay.
X-Wing tells the tale of Jaina, who is actually Han Solo's daughter.
Daughter.
She
Yes.
becomes the Sword of the Jedi. But X-Wing, yeah, it was a fun game, but they made a book about it.
X-Wing was an awesome
Yeah,
game.
I'm super upset because like I bought Crucible on Kindle and I read it and it was so good. I went and bought a hardcover copy of it and now I can't find it.
Maybe Michelangelo's reading it.
I can't find it. Oh, I didn't tell you. You know Michelangelo is my turtle people. I found my turtle. He's a rescue turtle. Found him
Literally.
he was crawling on my driveway one day when I was cutting the grass. But I found out about 2 weeks ago that Michelangelo is not a boy.
It's a
It's a
girl.
girl. Yeah. It,
She's
it
a
is it is so
girl.
hilarious. I do not want to really get deep in this conversation, but I literally felt like I had to have the Bruce Jenner talk with my or what's her name now?
Uh,
Kate,
uh,
Kate,
Caitlin?
Caitlin. Yeah.
Kate, Caitlin,
Yeah, so
yes.
I thought I almost had to have that talk with my 5 year old son because he asked me this question. We had to rename Michelangelo and we decided to name her Jade. But he asked me the question, um, how did he become a girl? and I said, and I had to say, she was always a girl.
It was always the girl.
So I felt
Um,
like, should I have this conversation now or should I just wait? So I just kind of
not
left it
at
alone.
5.
Yeah, I just kind of left it alone. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
her name's
seriously.
Jay now.
Yeah, well, with my 11-year-old, there were, like you said, in the, here in the Bay Area, we tend to be very, I guess, liberal about a few things, and I bring up certain topics with my 11-year-old son, thinking that he can be mature enough to be able to handle
Right.
it, and sometimes he's just like, okay, and
Yeah,
just like
I'm
leaves.
good.
Like, oh, I thought we were having a talk.
Yeah, my 5 year
Never
old doesn't even
mind.
just get up and leave. He just says, "Okay, so what's for dinner?"
I know, right?
All right, we're gonna wrap this show up. Last bit of news for attention you. This really has to do with you. Facebook is testing a personal assistant called Money Penny.
Perfect name.
James Bond would love it.
Yes, but you can't. Well, you can. I guess you can flirt with it. But he made it with Moneypenny in one movie.
Yes, yes, he did.
Yes. So
What was
if
that?
you make it with Moneypenny now with this test product that Facebook's doing, you need help.
Was that was,
I'm just saying.
was that money? Was that Octopus? Octopus wasn't that the one?
I
Which
don't think it was Octopussy because I don't
which
like. It
Bond
was
was
one of the.
that?
It was one of the opening sequences. He's with Moneypenny.
Oh no, so
And
that's the Daniel Craig one. Yeah. Oh man, which one was that? I can't remember now. Daniel Craig's done them a lot, so he kind of is my favorite. No, you know what? My
It
favorite.
wasn't Skyfall, was it?
Maybe that was Skyfall.
I don't think it was Skyfall.
No, no, Skyfall opened up in Berlin, so that wasn't it. I know that wasn't
Okay.
it. But my favorite Bond has to be Pierce Brosnan. That was my favorite Bond. But we'll get into our favorite Bonds of all
On a
time
different day.
next week. Let's line up for that next week. But it looks like the Facebook personal assistant Moneypenny is only going to be available in the Facebook Messenger app, so it's not going to be something that's going to be available on it, from what it seems from the talks of it, which is going to be entering a closed beta pretty soon. Um, or invite. I can't even call it a closed beta because from the sounds of it, it seems like it has already been in closed beta. So I'm thinking this is an invite only public beta, invite only, invite only alpha. I don't know how you would call this. Through invite, you can get into it, but Facebook and their invites, you really got to know somebody to get into this shit. But it does not sound like it will be available on desktop. It seems like it will be only mobile. through that Messenger app, and I think that's why there was a huge split off about it. But the interesting part about Moneypenny is that with that Moneypenny, the interesting part about Moneypenny is that it's not asking a server entity questions. It's actually asking real people questions, and I'm just interested in how they're going to curate and filter that. Like, it seems like if you want to ask a question to Moneypenny, you might just chat someone, just message someone then. Because if I'm going to be getting, I don't want to be getting responses back to my questions from people I don't know. And I thought the whole idea with Facebook was knowing the people you're connected with on Facebook. So if I'm asking people that I know on Facebook, why don't I just fucking ask them? I
Well,
don't get
isn't
it.
this just like advanced machine learning? Or are you actually talking to somebody that's employed in Facebook and they're at the headquarters in some sort of corner looking at all the queries and
It
responding?
literally says responses from real people. So the only thing I'm thinking of is okay, so maybe yeah, maybe I didn't think of it that way. But when I think of Facebook, I think of my friends, even if they're not really my friends, but they're people I've connected with on Facebook.
Sure.
So when they say like answers from real people, I don't imagine that they would be answers from someone sitting at Facebook. I thought they were speaking about people that I'm connected with then.
Well, I think that's the thing that Facebook wants you to stop doing. Facebook doesn't want you to look at Facebook as the only place to just talk to friends,
Okay.
the people that you kind of know. Facebook wants to be the destination for all of your internet. That's why they have such a large portfolio of applications, and they're doing so many other things that they didn't do at the incarnation of Facebook. They're going above and beyond what, and they're changing their focuses so much because they're trying to cater to the future of the use of the internet. You know, you look at Cortana and Siri, and you look at what Microsoft and Apple are doing and Google are doing. Facebook says we can do all of that within Facebook.com, and you don't have to leave our website whatsoever. And that's what they want, because then they can feed you ads, they can do all this other thing. And so if you can query, hey, what was the score between the Giants and the Padres? Yes, you could ask your friend, but it might take your friend an extra 5 minutes to look at his or her phone to respond. This person will give you the score right there and then. And I would assume that um, this is not an actual person. I think this is more of human-like responses,
Hmm.
and that at that point you're talking to a bot. But we talk to bots all the time, and we're amazed at how humanistic that Google now can be, like with her responses, or obviously Cortana as well too. When we do those demos and things like that, but being able to do that within Facebook and not having to worry about the inflections of the response because it's all in chat and it's all typed out. That's and it gives us the information that we need. That's all we really care about.
All right.
So
I like
I don't think
what is that?
I don't think down the line that you're ever going to fall in love with this particular money penny. I just think that she's going to be very useful and helpful if you're on Facebook.com. You need something real quick. Instead of having to open up another tab, you just open up a little chat window right there without having to leave Facebook, and you can still, scroll through your news feed.
I just don't understand. I don't see it picking up in the sense of so I may be giving them too much to use. Maybe I can make some money myself. No, I couldn't. I couldn't do this, and I don't even think they can do it. That's the whole point of this statement here. There's no reason for Facebook to go make a personal assistant unless you have the hardware to back it up. They don't make hardware. If I have to open an app in order to use a personal assistant, then it's just not going to work. If I have an
What about
I,
on the desktop though?
but it's not.
It kind of makes sense on the
But
desktop.
from the sound of it, it's not available on desktop. This is something that's working within the
Oh, it's
Facebook
only
Messenger
on
app.
through Messenger the
Yeah, they're
app. You're
talking
right.
about Messenger
Okay.
the app. So if I'm on my phone, whether I have an Android phone, I'm going to say, okay, Google. If I have an Apple phone, I'm going to say Siri. If I have a Windows phone, I'm going to say, hey, Cortana. There's no reason for me to have to open an app in order to get the same thing that my hardware is built in to do. So I just don't know how they're going to get this to fly if it involves having to open an app to do it. Until Facebook decides that they want to come out with a Facebook phone or they want to start building hardware with this hardwired in, then at that point you have to partner with someone. I don't know if Facebook is talking about maybe taking over OK Google and teaming up with Google to do this, but there's no way that they're going to oversee Siri. There's no way Microsoft is going to allow them to supersede Cortana. So how do you get from point A to point B when a user already has, yeah, you're talking about going to from A to C when a user already has B. Like I don't why would you jump it?
So why is Microsoft putting Cortana on iOS and Android?
I think they're putting
Because you're still going to have to open up Cortana, the app,
what
to take advantage of that.
the ideal is not Cortana's not going to be an app. Cortana's going to be built into Microsoft Edge, which is going to be available on Android and iOS. So I think that, and that's where I'm saying that's a different story. Now I get, maybe I'm saying the same thing. Maybe I'm saying, I mean, because Moneypenny will be built into the Messenger app that you're using, but you don't go into Messenger to find information. You don't go into Messenger to surf the web. But
Not yet.
if I see, I
Right?
get what you're
Messenger
saying.
at F8, they said Messenger is going to be a platform. We're not just going to be one-to-one, one-to-many, kind of just talking, sharing pictures and this and that. This is where you can collaborate, very similar to the whole toss-up thing that you mentioned a few minutes ago, that you can do all these things, and part of that might have to deal with getting queries. And when you know that
That's what you're saying.
maybe like maybe you don't know which person to ask. Hey, what's the Giants score, or what's the weather like in Kathmandu, or whatever. Like, how many ounces are in 3 pounds? Which one of your friends do you ask that? Yes, you can go to Google. That's probably what majority of us do. But if you just happen to have the app right there, and it's just easier for you to do that, for whatever the case is, maybe it just makes it that much easier.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something. Maybe the ideal is not to ask Moneypenny questions like that. Maybe it's not to ask her, what the score of the game was, but maybe it's to ask those real questions like, but I swear, if I have to ask this question, so there's a lot of times where like a game's coming out, right? And I'm asking, like it was Batman Arkham Knight, and I had to say, okay, which system should I get this on, Xbox or PlayStation? And I Google searched it. Then I ended up reading reviews and trying to find the answer of which console the game played better on. So maybe that's a question I asked Moneypenny, and Moneypenny then
Maybe.
curates others' Facebook posts about talking about that game and their experience with the game, and then those responses I'm getting back because there's actual real life interactions that I'm getting back, or not interactions, but real life experiences I'm getting back instead of a definitive answer or something. Because no one can definitively answer, you better buy Batman on Xbox, but they're gonna say, I liked it on Xbox because it had a better FPS, or I liked it on PlayStation because it had less choppy, things like that. So maybe I'm getting those kind of responses back versus getting a hard, a hard response. And those are what we save, our Siri and our Cortanas and OK Google's for. But
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
at the same time, you start talking about being able to collaborate inside of Messenger. That's the problem I have with Messenger and trying to go in this direction. Messenger does not open the platform for you to discover. That's what I think Microsoft Edge can do. That's what I think OK Google does. That's what I think Siri does. Being built into that browser experience, it allows you to discover, not collaborate. I have other platforms to collaborate, but I need more to discover stuff on. And I think that's where they're going to really harness the idea of, if they're trying to do cloud answers or community answers, if it's about discovery versus collaboration, I think that's where they'll really succeed.
Marty makes a good point too. The fact is, like, when you do a search on Google, or through Safari, through Bing, or DuckDuckGo, or I guess Facebook, you know you're unless it's a definitive, how old is Obama, you're gonna get a definitive, this is how old he is. But if you ask a question like, what gameplay is better for this game, is it on Xbox, PS4, or the PC, you might get biased answers. And the thing is, we tend to, as users, first off, we tend to surround ourselves with people that we have like minds about,
Mhm.
and then we tend to use services that tend to agree with us. So if you use Bing a lot because Bing has queried a bunch of things that you tend to find in the first two or three links, then maybe Bing, yes, will have some pro PC or pro Xbox links, and that will be okay with you. But then if you go to Google, maybe they have more pro PS4 links. And if you're a PS4 person, it's like that's perfect for you. You're never gonna
Right.
have these algorithms are created by people, so you're never gonna have an objective algorithm. There's no way, and that's the problem that we have today. Talking about the algorithm, when women are searching for jobs, the algorithm shoots out jobs that are good for men.
Yeah.
That's just the fact,
Because
and
who's programming
that's an
it?
issue. Because who programmed it? Guys. And the problem is we aren't dog fooding our own algorithm with the proper people
Right.
that need to find the queries that pertain to them.
But
So
and the public doesn't notice it because it's exactly what you're saying.
no,
When
they don't.
if I decide to Bing something, if I'm on Bing and I decide to search for something, as soon as Xbox comes up first, that doesn't fucking mean anything to me because I like Xbox. Obviously, I like Microsoft,
Sure.
so that's why I'm on Bing. If I Google something and ask, a question, and Google, pages and pages down its results, throws me over to Yahoo and gives me Yahoo News, go ahead and try it out too. I encourage you viewers to try it out. Look for a news story. Look for a news story that just broke within an hour. Tomorrow morning, wake up, find the latest news story that you see. Don't look at it on the internet. Hear it on TV. Then go and Google it. And let us know what page did the Yahoo News story show up. Because that's what Tony's talking about here, is that you will get this biased result based on the service that you use. Do the same thing with Bing. Find out when the Google story shows up. But you don't notice it because it's not built into, or it's not hardwired, or we are hardwired to see what we want to see, especially when we come to having a preference on search engines or having a preference on products and news outlets that we come to like and enjoy. So we end up just saying, like, that's the way it is. That's the way life ends up being.
That's the problem.
Until there's a service that becomes unbiased, which I doubt there ever will be,
Never gonna
because
happen.
even we talked last week about Reddit. That
There you
it
go.
just won't happen. You try to get an unbiased source, and that source becomes biased in nature because of the people who created, the people that control it. Reddit controls
Yeah,
itself.
they have their own values. They think that one thing should be promoted over the other. They have their own hidden agendas. If they have some sort of marketing deal or advertising deal with Sony, that they might be more proactive to promote Sony related and positive websites and links of that nature.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is every one of those guys do that. So if you are looking for the best gameplay for Call of Duty Black Ops, what is the best gameplay? All of you have your opinions. The best thing to do is do your research on multiple search engines, and that's the thing. Like when Braz does his investigative research and things like that, he uses different websites. I do too. I use different search queries. I use different search engines. I have even gone to the point of using DuckDuckGo, which is a search engine that isn't related to like Google. They don't use the same algorithm. They have their own kind of thing that doesn't take your cookies or anything like that. So
No, I don't like when people take my cookies.
no,
Don't,
those are
don't
mine.
take my cookies. I love my cookies.
Yeah. I think that this question about having a bias on search results is never going to be answered. Going back to the topic at hand, um, Facebook has, like I mentioned, has a ton of apps that have failed. If you look at Home, which was the launcher replacement for Android, that was a failure. Poke was a failure.
Yep.
They had that Snapchat kind of play, that was a failure. Their specific app for news, I think it was called Paper, that was a failure.
Damn, Tony,
But
I'm starting to think you don't like Facebook. It's failure, failure.
but these are facts, right? I mean, these are just things that they just haven't done well. But the one thing that people they were very vocal about was, oh, they're taking Messenger away from the Facebook app. This is terrible. Do you know how many people download and use Messenger daily? Millions of people.
Yeah.
And they the Facebook is starting to see that this is a monetized platform that they can fully take advantage of. And yes, between now and F8, not a lot of people have taken advantage of it, but this could put them
I,
over
ju-
the
I,
hump to
ju-
say, hey, look, this is more than that.
I,
This
I,
is more than just
I
chatting.
actually just had this thought earlier today. How long do you think it would take before phones stop putting messaging in their phone and only put Facebook Messenger?
Well, you mean just
Basically, like, okay, so you got the
so no
messaging app.
SMS, you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. You basically have the messaging app in your Android. You have iMessage in an iPhone. How long do you think
Hmm.
it'll take before these mobile OSs replace their messaging apps with Facebook Messenger? I think this will happen within the next 12 to 18 months. We will see.
Oh, that's soon.
I see it happening. Like you said, there are millions of users who use Messenger now.
Yeah,
It's the quickest.
that's
Who do you
true.
get faster responses from when you send someone a text message or when you send someone a message on Facebook?
Right.
Like
No, I agree, and that's it's kind of a weird paradigm. But the thing is, you're always on Facebook on your work computer, so even if your phone's in your pocket or your purse, you can still get the
yeah.
message.
And here's
Um,
Marty Lardy on the chat. This is what I just said. What 10 minutes ago? When Facebook makes a phone.
they tried that though. Do you remember the Facebook HTC first? That was terrible.
I don't even
That
remember. I
came
don't even know they tried it.
Okay. Facebook made a phone. They worked with HTC. It was called the HTC First. It was a sub $100 phone, or maybe it was two hundred
That was
dollars.
why it failed. No one
It
wants to buy cheap
was
phones anymore. Even no matter
well,
what it can do, no one wants to buy cheap phones anymore.
yeah, no, I mean the phone itself. They even tried to spin it off and say it had nothing to do with Facebook. And in fact, there was maybe about a month or so you could not even remove the Facebook integration from the phone at all.
Ah,
But the idea was you sign in with your Google Play info, and then you immediately sign in with your Facebook. And just like what you said, I don't know if the SMS app was removed completely, but the prominent app for messaging was obviously Facebook Messenger,
okay.
and it was the Facebook camera and the Facebook calendar. I mean, everything was Facebook, and if you ingratiated into Facebook, it made sense. And for me at the time, that was my main. This was before Google Plus.
Yeah,
I
how
didn't
long
really
ago
take
was
advantage.
this that they did this?
This was like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, that was a little
I,
too
wa-
soon.
I
A
was
little too
still
soon.
working at Verizon, so it might have been 2011. I have to double check.
I can't imagine
But
it was last year. So yeah, I
oh, no,
would
no,
probably
no.
go somewhere between 2011 and 13. But
Yeah, because I was at TechCrunch Disrupt in 2012, and
that's when Pied
Mark
Piper was there.
Zuckerberg was asked on stage by a moderator saying, "So when are we getting a Facebook phone?" And the thing is, like they have tried and failed on trying to build up these applications that other people have already created. So Facebook has done a lot of Me Too apps, like we just mentioned with Snapchat. They had to buy WhatsApp, so they didn't have to worry about the market share
Divided.
being
Yeah.
shadowed over their messaging application. What I think eventually is we're going to see Facebook Messenger go away and then WhatsApp be the prominent, and then that's going to start because they have way more users on WhatsApp, and those users can take advantage of essentially the messaging platform for the monetization. So
Yeah.
I will say one thing in closing on this topic. There was one feature that Facebook implemented, which was the capability of sending money for free,
Hmm.
and I've done that. Because there's Vimeo, or sorry, there's
I
Venmo
think
that you
that's in
can
there
send
now,
money.
right? It's in there now.
It's in there now. And I did that with my brother-in-law because he owed me some money. And I said, hey, bro, when are you going to come over? He's like, I can't make it until next week. I'm like, I need that money, dude, because essentially it's my gas money for work. He's like, well, I'll just send it to you on Facebook. I'm like, really? Like, that's live now?
Hold on,
Like,
let me.
I got it?
I just saw that. Where did I see that at? Was it in details? Oh, there it is.
No,
Yeah, there
so,
it is. It's right
yeah,
at the bottom.
yeah,
Spend
yeah.
money.
So you know
I'm
where
going
it
to
is now.
send you $1.
Marty Lardy says they need to set up the browser game.
No, so while he was typing that was funny, the browser game, but no, I'm not going to get into the details of that right now because we're about to wrap the
It's
show up. But
they better not buy Zynga. I'm gonna yell at them.
when he said a Facebook OS, it hit me that they have to call this thing. We're talking about hardware for Facebook, and they have to call this thing something. So we're going to close with this. We want to know your thoughts. Again, you guys can email the show you can email the show at info@onelifetoplay.com. You can also chat with us on Twitter, which is that's a lot of things going up right there. You can chat with Lazy Tech Guys at Lazy Tech Guys over on Twitter or at One Life to Play. Also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Google Plus, along with iTunes. We're going to wrap the show with this. We want to know your thoughts about this. If Facebook made a phone, what do you want it to be called? Would you want it to be called the Face Phone or the Phone Book?
Oh God, I don't know which one is worse,
I'm
man.
just laughing to myself over here because you got to pick one, and Facebook phone just sounds so ridiculously generic that you have to pick something snazzy, right? So
The F
why
phone.
not bring back the phone book? It's literally the phone book.
Jesus.
But I do like face phone. I'm liking face phone. But if Facebook made a phone, what would you call it? That's what we want to know for next week's show. So again, email the show info@onelifetoplay or hit us up on YouTube when this video gets posted tomorrow, or actually later today, when this video gets posted. You can go ahead and throw your comments down right in the bottom. And whoever throws comments down in the bottom of this video or any of our past videos, we're going to do a whole little shout out segment next week on the show too.
Yeah,
Um,
Marty, thanks a lot for being active,
Oh
bro.
yeah, thanks a lot, Marty Lardy.
Definitely
Big
appreciate it.
shout out also to IB Holy Spirit up in the chat room too. We also had Batman Swag. Yeah, he was out in the chat. He or she was out in the chat. And who was that threw the link up there? I don't know who that was that threw the link. Oh,
Um,
Landshark CS. We appreciate if you want to come back and join the chat instead of just throwing up links. Join the chat. We'd love to talk to you guys too. Um, yeah, next week. Yeah,
I,
let's go ahead and do that. You know what? Next week, if we get the viewers, we'll come out with just say maybe a few stories to talk about, but let's make this a fan show. Let's make this a fan built show next week. You guys can
shit. All right.
throw up some topics over on Twitter or in the comments on this YouTube video too, and we will try to get to all those topics then next week. All right. Any closing remarks, Tony?
Well, I want to answer Marty's question from earlier. So I feel that I am kind of like Captain America. I try to
There
do
you
right,
go.
um, but I would rather be Tony Stark.
You're gonna be Tony Stark. Okay.
I'd rather be Tony
Wait,
Stark.
if I had to pick one, hold on, let me think on this for just a second as I swig my scotch.
Yeah, there you go.
If I had to pick a character that I was, and we're talking about from the Marvel Universe,
Yeah, Marvel only.
oh boy, I think I would have to be. Sorry, I would have to be Beast. 'Cause
All right.
I would fight a motherfucker if I have to, but I love solving some problems. So I would have to be good old Hank McCoy. I need to. Um, I'm ready. I'm down to fight. I'm down to solve. I'm down to learn. Let's do it. So we've got who are you again? I don't know who you. Oh, Captain America.
Yeah.
Captain America never worked with Beast. That just wouldn't
No,
happen.
but we could. We could make it work.
I've never seen that actually.
I'm just saying, we could make it work.
Wait,
It
has Tony Stark ever worked with X-Men?
no. Well, unless
No, in
Wolverine. Wolverine.
Generations. I think that was
I didn't. I
Generation.
didn't.
Was it
I didn't
Generations?
watch Generation.
No, it's the comic book. The comic book. It's when Cable came back. I think Tony Stark was in that. Yeah. So okay, whatever. I'm Beast. You're Captain America / Tony Stark. Till next week. We love you guys for participating. Join in next week. We'll see you then. Again, that is going to be 10 p.m. Pacific time on Mondays,
Give
1
or take 10
a.m.
p.m.
Eastern time on Tuesday morning, Monday night. Join us on twitch.tv/OneLikeToPlay. I'm Larry Brash, your host. That guy over there is Tony Hannity's editor-in-chief of Lazy Tech Guys. Till next time, game on.